What is up, my friends? Started this a little bit before 4:30 Eastern, 2:30 my time, just to give people time to join by the actual 4:30 start time. Sorry, fumbling with my words. We had just gotten I mentioned this on a couple live streams, just gotten some feedback about like starting the live stream and then immediately getting into it doesn't necessarily give people enough time to join and then feel like they're behind or something. So all I'm doing right now is just logging in to all of the sports books. If you want to watch me do that, you can. I will do that now. Let's see. PointsBet, DraftKings I can't use. BetRivers I might not. I think I need to put money in because I had a rough BetRivers day. I guess it was yesterday. I had a nerfy one that lost. But yeah, so I guess keep this as a reminder, or use this as a reminder, I should say, that signing up for all of the sports books is incredibly important. So there's a link. Oh, stupid FanDuel. I think I mentioned this in the last live stream, but is this a typical FanDuel issue that people have where like, you see it's like blank up here? I can't do anything. It won't let me log in. But anyways, use this as an example to tell you that just how important it is to be logged into or to be signed up for every sports book. So what I would recommend doing is just, depending on what state you're in, like for me, being in Colorado, I have access to zillions and zillions of sports books. But just like understand the betting landscape in your state, find out what sports books are legal. And then if there are any books that you're missing, just go ahead and sign up. It's like a really easy way to like a free way to take advantage of a ton of different promotions and stuff. So like if you did want to sign up, I need to log in. So like if you did want to sign up, but didn't want to take advantage of like the full sign up bonus. Like, I mean, if you don't want to drop 1,500, whatever, you can still be signed up and then just have more books appear, right? Like on this page. I also want to highlight the OddsJam screen. I'll actually put this in the link in the chat. It's also in the description of this YouTube video. I just posted it in the chat. This OddsJam screen is awesome. It's really, really cool. It takes away a lot of the work that I like to do. Like one thing that I really, really like to do is scroll through every game and just look at pricing discrepancies and see like, all right, where can I get books to price different, or like where are different books pricing different spreads and totals and money line bets and stuff at. And at the beginning of the week, like you can find some really, really good value. Like 7 to 7.5 at the same exact odds is huge. Chiefs win by a touchdown. This bet pushes, this bet loses. 3 to 3.5 is huge. You bet on the Bengals +3, lose it, or this bet pushes, this bet wins. 4 is also a big number. Let's say a team is up by 3, scores a touchdown, goes up by 4. This bet pushes, this bet wins. Like 5 to 5.5, 6 to 6.5, stuff like those aren't. 14 to 14.5 is kind of important. It's 2 touchdowns. Certain numbers are obviously more important than others. And that's something that I guess I would like. This is really, really important. 2.5 to 3 is massive. Chargers win by field goal. This bet pushes, this bet loses. Like that's probably the biggest one to get ahead of is 2.5 to 3, depending on who you're backing. Like I had the Bills -3 last week against the Ravens. They won by 3. That bet pushed. If I'd gotten 3.5, I would have lost. If I'd gotten 2.5, I would have won. So I would say that's definitely the most important, finding examples where you can go from 2.5 to 3. And it looks like the odds, like you can get, let's see. So the best lines, like, so you're getting 2.5 and like the -120s, and you're getting 3 in the -110. So not really a middle opportunity or anything like that. But I would check out the OddsJam screen. I put it in the chat, right? If you just want to check it out, it's in the chat. It's completely free. It's really, really cool. Looking at totals, looking at spreads, finding pricing discrepancies is amazing. It's also really cool for player props, specifically ones like passing yards. And I guess I need to log in. That's weird. Probably just logged out. You can see all the Google accounts that I am logged into. Let's see. How do you handle bets that are plus EV but might not be likely to win? If it's plus EV, I think they should still be taken. The whole point of positive expected value is like the reflected odds, let's like find an example, like plus 152. The more likely scenario, like 40%, this bet's played 1,000 times, you lose 60% of the time. But you only need to win based on these odds, plus 152, less than that amount. So positive EV betting, it's all about placing bets that are more likely to occur than the reflected odds of the sports book. So to answer your question, I will not avoid betting on underdogs just because of the money. I think it's really, really important sometimes to bet on underdogs because you don't have to win 50% of your bets. If you can bet 3 underdogs, you win 2 of them, that can be very, very profitable. So I don't stay away from them at all. To answer this question, if it's plus EV, it's a good bet. And if it shows up on the recommended filters, that means it's a good bet. So I will not stay away from that at all. But all right, so it's been long enough. I've been doing this for 4 minutes. Check out the OddsJam screen. It's completely free, like I mentioned. You can look at, and it was what I was getting into was the player props. So I have NFL, and I want to go to like player passing yards to show you the good example of like why this is so important. Like we see books ranging it from 225 to 230. For Matt Ryan, we see not really as big of a discrepancy, but like here, Aaron Rodgers, 235 to 238, 210 to 220, 205 to 220. This is massive. I think Alex highlighted this on the video. This is a massive, massive difference. So I would check out the OddsJam screen, sign up for all the sports books, and you can literally see when lines change in real time. So like if you want a live bet, if you go to Moneyline, you want a live bet, you can literally see in real time when odds are changing. So anyways, let's lock in some bets. So Ohio State looks like they are minus 25.5 against Michigan State. I like it. I mean, right off the bat, Ohio State's awesome. Michigan State isn't as good. Before deciding to take a play, obviously the most important stuff to do, open up the spread, not only in like in this plus EV page, but in a new tab as well. And just, I mean, this is awesome value. Minus 105 on Fox Bet. Every other book has it in the minus 120s. Fox Bet is the only book that has this as the least likely scenario. Minus 105, minus 126, minus 130, minus 132, minus 125. That's an awesome play. And every other book prices this spread 26.5, 27. I'm going to lock this in. Of course, the one book I forgot to log into was Fox Bet. That's an awesome play. It's telling me to put 200 on it. If you have 2 units, I would put 2 units on this one. Looks like I have 160 left in my Fox Bet account because I have been hammering. I might deposit and put more on this, but for the purposes of this video, for those of you riding with me at home, Ohio State minus 25.5, minus 105. I'm going to put 150 on this one, unit and a half. We'll go ahead and just call it in the middle. But for those of you watching, you who are riding, if you have Fox Bet, lock in Ohio State minus 25.5. I think that is an awesome play. I'll wait 10 seconds. This always happens. But like, this is what we're talking about, the importance of line shopping. Fox Bet has it at minus 105. Like, look where every other book prices it. This is a pretty insane gap between all these other books. And then if you open it up in a new tab, you can see like most books have it at 26.5 or 27. The only book that doesn't have it at 26.5 or 27 is is Fox Bet. And they have that at minus 105. So they have that as the least likely scenario. That's awesome value. I'm going to lock this one in. Please go through. If not, I have to there we go. So if you're watching this, hammer Ohio State minus 25.5. If you do have Fox Bet, let me just add this one to my bet tracker. I think that's a great play. Another one that was all over the plus EV page that I really like is this under in the 49ers versus Panthers game. Under 40, under 38.5, under 39. It's plus EV at a bunch of different numbers. I'll take it at under 38.5 because that has the tightest market width, also has the highest EV. So it's kind of best of both worlds. This one makes a ton of sense. Baker Mayfield is awful. One of the places he's the most awful at, which is a lot because he sucks, is against pressure. The 49ers have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They get a ton of pressure. I like that one a lot, Panthers. So we're looking at the under 38.5. This one would be a unit play. BetMGM, I doubt will let me get a unit on it. So I'll try to put a unit for those of you at home who are watching this, put a unit on BetMGM under 38.5. See how much they let me get. $9.33. Lovely. But that's an awesome play. Another $1.33. Another really, really good one. And it's the same logic, right? Like we see once this loads, let me get a drink of water real quick. Turns out I was out of water, so I'm just going to have a dry mouth, but that's okay. Like look where all these books price it. So plus 105 on MGM, minus 110, minus 110, 50-50. Plus 100 is the only book that has it closer, which is Bet Rivers, but like minus 110, minus 110, minus 106, basically having it a 50-50 chance. We're getting it for plus money at plus 105. I think that's pretty good. Lock that in. So that's now 2 bets that we've locked in on the live stream. Ohio State minus 25.5, 49ers, Panthers under 38.5. So let me go ahead and hide this. And that's another cool feature. If you don't know, you can hide bets. So let me go ahead and hide this, which I will do now. So let's see what else we got here. So the Vikings Bears first half over 22.5. Just from a normal handicapping perspective, I don't love. Obviously, you know, the math is the most important thing. So I won't avoid bets that I see here just because I'm like, oh, I don't like that for a handicapping perspective. But let's see how it looks here. I mean, this is pretty good. Plus 105 on points bet. No other book. I mean, like the closest book is Pinnacle at about even money, minus 101. Actually, I'm going to actually avoid this one. And I'll tell you why. So a little bit of strategy. So plus 105 is what we would get it at on points bet. Every other book except for DraftKings is telling you that the more likely scenario is that they think this goes under. It's like minus 115 towards the under, minus 105, minus 122 towards the under, minus 104, minus 114 towards the under, minus 101, plus 105. It's not nearly as big of an outlier if you look at this one than the 49ers under that we took earlier. So that's kind of one thing you can do if you're debating, like you're in the midst of a cold streak and you're hoping to turn things around. Looking into different plays like this, looking into the markets and seeing where all the books price at can be really helpful. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So let's keep going. Have the recommended filters on just because it's, you know, the more profitable bets, all that stuff. So this one we already locked in, this under. This one we decided to avoid. UCLA. So I actually have their money line. If you look at, I have it on Caesars, UCLA money line. I got it at plus 170. I put a half unit on it. We can see if this one is still good. UCLA plus 1.5. I'm not going to avoid it just because I have their money line. And this one is pretty good. This one is pretty good. Plus 152 on FanDuel, plus 130, plus 130, plus 140. Average odds plus 138. We got it at plus 152. This is only telling me to put half a unit on it, which sounds about right. Oh, FanDuel. If you guys have this problem on FanDuel, please, I'm pretty sure I saw people comment on it last time, if I remember correctly. Please let me know. It's so aggravating trying to lock something in, and it literally just like, I literally can't, like, it won't confirm your location. It just stays like this. You have to keep refreshing and refreshing. And all I want to do is use your app, FanDuel. I'm not trying to complain. I would just like to spend money, but it's not going to verify my location. So you have to keep refreshing. This is like just classic first world problems. Like, oh, the sports book that you want to bet with is a little bit glitchy. So I won't get a ton of sympathy for people that aren't in the know, but it can be very frustrating if you're trying to get a bet in and you can't because of this, because it just keeps glitching out, whatever the software is. And it's been a problem forever. This has been a problem forever with FanDuel. I don't know if people have actually complained. I haven't, but not like officially to them, but it's very annoying. Let me try logging. Oh, no, that worked. Of course. The one time I got it to work. Okay. All right. We're good. So I need to lock in. This is true. I do have the mobile app. But if I'm like in the middle of like recording something, I mean, this is very, very specific to me, obviously. You're right. I don't have this issue on the mobile app. You're 100% correct. So that is a good, I guess I should have mentioned that. If you have this issue on the desktop, a good way to fix that is exactly what Mackenzie said. Just go to the mobile app because you're right. It won't happen there. All right. So we're looking at UCLA plus 1.5, plus 152. This is a half unit play. So this is the third bet that we are locking in. So I can go ahead and keep my bet tracker up. So we locked in Ohio State minus 25.5, the under 38, in the 49ers versus Panthers. And let me add this one to my bet tracker as well before I forget. This was a half unit place. This is the third one. 2 NFL, 1 college football. Sounds about right. I know NFL better. I certainly don't avoid college football, but NFL plays I can speak to way more. No, that's 2 college football, 1 NFL. Excuse me. So this under in the Oregon versus Arizona game, it's a very, very high number. 70.5 is insane, but it's pretty good. -110 on Caesars and Fox Bet. DraftKings -130. Bet Rivers -114. Pinnacle -131. Thrive is not legal in my state, so I haven't used it. I can check to see what Thrive has. Let's see if they have odds up yet, because Thrive is a player prop one. So let's see. We can look at Thrive, but let me go ahead and lock this one in first. But anyways, back to the Oregon, Arizona one. Another example of why line shopping is so important. If you like open this up in a new tab, it pulls up where all the books are pricing something at. And we see like 70.5, only 2 books, Caesars, Fox Bet have it at 70.5. Every other book, 70 or 69.5. Now I will admit numbers that are as high as 70, the value of 1 point, it diminishes. So like, the difference between 30 and 31 is obviously a much bigger difference between the 70 and 69, right? But it's still telling you that all the books are telling you that it should be priced under this number. So I think it had me put 90 on this one. I normally put things in like a quarter unit size more Caesar. So I'll just round this one down to 75 on this place. This is the 4th bet that I have locked in so far. So let me go ahead and add this one to my bet tracker. So if you joined late, real quick, we can do a recap. We have locked in Ohio State versus Michigan, Ohio State -25.5. We locked in 49ers under 38.5, 49ers versus Panthers. We locked in UCLA +1.5, and then we just locked in the under 70.5 in Oregon versus Arizona. I don't know college football a ton. If I remember correctly, I remember, I follow people on Twitter that Oregon's defense isn't as bad as it normally is. So maybe that one goes under, and 70 points is high. Let's see. So I don't see anything for player receptions for Thrive. I'm answering your question, David. We can go to passing yards. I just had that up. Where's player passing yards? Attempts, touchdowns. Control F. Maybe they took it down because oh, there you go. Player passing yards. I may think I'm just blind. So with Thrive and Prize Picks and Underdog, what you're looking for is discrepancies between all of the different books. Passing yards is where you will find the biggest discrepancies. Like we found Ryan Tannehill's passing yards. One book had it at over 105.5, or excuse me, 205.5. Another one had it at 220. Like that's massive. Oh, I knew what. I need to add Thrive. That's why. Sorry. It was added, right? Thrive Fantasy. There you go. All right. So let's see what we got here. Looks like, well, this isn't helpful. Looks like they only have plays up for the Thursday night game, and they only have it for Matt Ryan. So no help there. We can look at other plays, like receiving yards is another good one. That's not what I want to do. We can look at interceptions. Under. So actually, the over interceptions for Matt Ryan is pretty good. And I like that just from look, if you want to look at Matt Ryan's stats, right? Like, let me pull this up. 1, 3, 0, and their only win of the year. 1. That's a good play. For those of you that have Thrive with David, I would add Matt Ryan over 0.5 interceptions. Because look at the other books, like -114, -127, -125, -125. That's pretty good. Getting it at minus, like the implied odds of -111. So that's one. Add Matt Ryan interceptions. Let me go back to passing yards. Or no, sorry, I looked at that. Let me go back to receiving. That's what I wanted to look at. See what we got there. All right, so let's look for discrepancies. This could be a good. Actually, no. This would be an under. If you have underdog, this is actually exactly what I'm looking at now. If you have underdog, the under Cortland Sutton would be pretty good. Like underdog has it at 67.5. Every other book has it at 63. That's a pretty good value getting him to go under. Same thing with Romeo Dobbs for Green Bay. Underdog has it at 45.5. Every other book has it at 40.5. Same thing with Alan Lazard. Looks like we're fading the Aaron Rodgers receivers in the London game. But like, look at the logic, right? Like it's not, and you see just some odds change. So one book just changed it. What they change it to? I'm not sure. I guess it was plus 104, I guess. But just look at like taking out the handicapping. Just you're using the books against each other at this point. 47.5 underdog, under for underdog, 42.5 on Prize Picks. So maybe that's an over for Prize Picks and an under for underdog. Same thing here. If you want to like middle these, right? Like OddsJam has a tool for middling, but with numbers this low, like the most likely scenario here is that he lands between 40 and 45, right? Just from looking at these odds. But this is a definitely good under. Cortland Sutton under, and this one is good. Russell Wilson's hurt, so like that one makes sense for capping. I haven't seen another good Thrive one, unfortunately, but those are some good underdog and Prize Picks ones. Let's look at rushing yards. And then after this, I got a hop going, just not super exciting. I have a doctor's appointment. Matt Ryan rushing yards. Nice. Yeah, nothing there. So here we go. AJ Dillon, another good middle. Take his over on Prize Picks, take his under on underdog. Most likely scenario is that he lands in between this number. Singletary, middle that. Take his over rushing, take it on Prize Picks, take his under on underdog, under on underdog. Dameon Pierce, same thing, over under. Looks like Prize Picks is lower on these players and underdog is higher on them, which is funny enough. Unfortunately, David, I apologize. I haven't found another good prize or Thrive one. So I would just keep in that Matt Ryan one in the holster and then see if anything else pops up. Like, as you can see, none of the main books have posted player props yet, except for the Thursday night game. So we don't have a ton of options right now. But I'm going to see if I can find one more plus EV bet that I really like. So this one we've already taken. We've already taken this one. Boise State first quarter spread. I'm going to avoid under 58 in Coastal. Let's see. I'm going to avoid Saints. Oh God, Saints minus 2.5. Oh, that odds changed. So that one's not even available. So none of them on here were great, but that's going to be it for this live stream. So most of the bets that I locked in look to still be available. It's these four right here. So check these out. Ohio State minus 25.5, under 38.5 in 49ers Panthers. UCLA plus 1.5. Oregon, Arizona under 70.5. All are still green. All are still plus EV, which is a good sign. That's going to be it. So I'm going to go to my doctor's appointment, but definitely make sure to check out the OddsJam screen. It's completely free. So Carson, so David, look at the OddsJam screen and you can just literally look for discrepancies on the screen for plays to add. That's the best way to find them. That's how Alex finds them. He's really good at Prize Picks. Alex being the OddsJam co-founder. Now I'm going to hop. So appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. You see on the screen here, JediModi, my Twitter handle. Comment, let me know that way. And that's all I got. So thanks for watching.